Tell us something about the reforms that are being carried out in the defense sector by the government of India.
A report had come that there is some damage to Pakistan nuclear facilities. So this has been confirmed by IAEA. What is IAEA?
What is the difference between GPS and GIS? Can you tell me the few name of satellites being used for that in India?
Do you have some idea about the Indian economy as such?
In the Ops Indore,
Yes, sir.
a lot of drone was used by the Pakistan and most of them were neutralized.
Yes, sir.
By which system it has been neutralized?
What are the challenges faced before Indian economy at this point of time?
May I come in, sir? Good morning. Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Shagun.
Yes.
So how are you celebrating your birthday today?
So I am planning to go to a restaurant with my friends.
Okay. So who's going to foot the bill? How much is the bill expected?
So I think we are 4 or 5 friends. So we will. I think maximum 2,500 or 3,000 will be.
Per head?
No, sir. Total.
Total?
Yes.
Okay. So you are not into beer or whiskey and things like that as
No,
yet?
no, sir.
So that's good. Okay. So you're from Science School Chittorgarh.
Yes, sir.
So tell me one value which you're carrying from there.
So the value of teamwork I have learnt in Sainik School. I think I am carrying it in my life.
Can you give me an example of teamwork that you have implemented? The
So,
spirit?
even I have also went to various SSBs, and even during SSBs, without any task, when we are staying in the dormitories, I have helped many a times my friends who are medically sick or anyone who is needing any item. So these kinds of things I think I have implemented the idea of teamwork.
Okay. What is GTO largely depends on? Teamwork or individual work? GTO tasks.
So, as the name says, group testing officer, so I think GTO primarily focuses on a cadet's ability to coordinate well with the team and brings out maximum efficiency from the team.
Okay. Now, what do you understand by cooperation?
So, cooperation is the ability to do a task or thing with someone where you may have to sacrifice, or where you may have to perform more because you are performing as a team. So I think cooperation basically means focusing on teamwork rather than being conscious about one's own performance.
So you mean to say it is willing performance, willingly you perform for the end results of the group,
Yes, sir.
understanding that joint effort is better than the individual effort,
Yes, sir.
and without a conflict,
Yes.
contributing without conflict,
Yes.
and relegating your own interest as compared to the group's interest. Is it right?
Yes. So whenever we are given a group task, I think our primary aim should be to achieve the group's task.
And not seek individual glory. Is it?
So if we are given the group task, we should not focus on individual glory. Otherwise, it would lead to the confrontation within the team, and it will not lead to the achievement of the result for which we are given the task.
Okay, fine. You switched from science to art side.
Yes, sir.
Any specific reason?
So while preparing for ND exam in class 12, I used to study for the subjects like history, political science, geography, and other art subjects. So I developed a keen interest in them, and I thought of pursuing them in my graduation. That's why I shifted to arts in my graduation.
Any other reason?
No, sir.
Right. So, what kind of routine do you follow from the time you wake up to the time you sleep?
Sir, I wake up around 6 o'clock, after which I do my daily chores for around half an hour. Then I go for exercise outside gym, which is basically gym. And
Okay, got you. So, a report had come that there is some damage to Pakistan nuclear facilities. So, this has been confirmed by IAEA. What is IAEA?
sir, International Atomic Energy Agency.
Yeah, it's been confirmed by IAEA that no damage has been done and there is no leakage. So now tell me something about IAEA
So
as to the role, responsibilities, and the members.
So IAEA was established in 1957 under the UN. The primary purpose of the International Atomic Energy Agency is to prevent the military use of nuclear weapons, and instead the nuclear resources should be used for peaceful purpose. It ensures that the member countries are not using the nuclear resources for any military purpose. So it uses the member countries to coerce pressure into other countries if any country is using those resources for military purposes. And it also monitors the usage of nuclear resources in the country.
What about collaboration, safety?
So it ensures that the materials are supplied safely and used safely so that they are not injurious to the civilian population living there.
Okay. So how many members are there as of 2025?
So I am not sure about the total member countries.
Okay. Right. Now let me ask you a situation. You go back to your SSB days.
Yes.
You are offered bribe and you are the assistant commandant.
Yes.
What will you do?
So I am assistant commandant.
And you are offered a bribe by somebody, by a contractor or someone.
For any purpose.
Yeah.
So
some gratification.
So I will not accept the bribe, and I will report to the higher authorities or the corruption monitoring authorities, and I will report the incident.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You also have to evaluate him.
Sir?
Evaluate भी कर दिया साथ साथ.
Okay. I see that you are well dressed.
Yes.
You have confidence. Your entry was with a lot of confidence, exuberance, and you speak well. You are very articulate. You understand and you take the prompts well, and generally you understand the nuances. And you ought to be hiding your kala.
Yes.
This that you're wearing.
Yes.
This one. Yeah.
Yes.
Kala you should not be wearing. Remaining, I think, is generally okay.
You were the student of geography.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the difference between GPS and GIS?
So GPS stands for Geographical Positioning System, and GIS is Geographical and Information System. Sir, I am not sure about this.
Okay. Generally, the satellite is being used to have the satellite images and all.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me the few name of satellites being used for that in India?
Sir, I think INSAT satellites are used for this purpose. So
ISRO satellites are being used. Can you name them?
No, sir, I am not.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, the satellites are moving around the area. It is being tasked to go and have the imagery of that area. And there is a process that is known as the satellite mosaicing system, image mosaicing system. So do you know about that?
No, sir.
Actually, you do. Okay, tell us how we can use the satellite images and where we can use it.
So we can use satellite images firstly for our national security purpose. We have adversaries all around our border, primarily China and Pakistan. We can monitor the movement of troops or any buildup around the borders so that we can get ideas, or we can make ourselves prepare for any threats which can arise from those areas.
Generally, it is known that satellite images are not the real images. They are near to real images. Means it is not updated one. It is a few hours back or day back, no. To fill the gap, what kind of other things can be used for that? To get the instant image, real-time image.
So drones, we can use drones. We can use small and very high precision drones so that we can get accuracy in the images and real-time updates of those places.
In the Ops Indore,
yes, sir.
A lot of drone was used by the Pakistan, and most of them were neutralized.
Yes, sir.
By which system it has been neutralized?
So we have an integrated air defense system. We used S-400 Barak 8 missile system, and the Indian Army has also its Akash Tir air defense system. We used it to neutralize the aerial threats which we faced from Pakistan.
Okay. tell us about the Manipur. Manipur is always remains in the problem. What is the background of that?
Sir, the Manipur, since 2 years, there has been a lot of violence in Manipur, basically between the valley-based Meitei groups and the tribal Kuki groups. So the power is basically in the hands of the Meitei groups, and the Kuki groups lack power and they are less in number. I think first of all is the Meitei's group want to come in the wanted their inclusion in the ST list, which was protested by the Kuki groups, because of which there was a lot of tension in the valley. And even after repeated attempts by the government, a buffer zone has been created, but still the violence is being practiced. Instead, now even the buffer zone is being handled by the rival groups to target each other. And I think the groups are not able to reach a conclusion on to live peacefully.
Any other factor that affect the Manipur law and order?
Sir, we share a unfenced border with the Myanmar, and the tribal groups like the Kuki Chinjo, they are a ethnic group. So some parts of these group live beyond the border. So they receive support in the form of arms, ammunition, and moral support, because of which it has become a bigger issue. It has become an identity issue. So the issue has not been able to be resolved.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Shagun,
Yes, sir.
your Sainik school is based in Chittorgarh.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us something about the Chittorgarh fort?
Sir, it is one of the largest fort in India, and the wall is the second largest wall in Asia after the Great Wall of China. The fort was built in 8th century by the Sasodiya Rajputs. The fort is sit atop a hill and spans over 700 acres. So it gets a natural defensive advantage. If we talk about the architecture and history, the fort was constructed in the 8th century, and since then many of the buildings have been created, like the Kirti Stambh, most famous Vijay Stambh, Rani Padmini Place, Kumbha Place, Gomukh Reservoir are some of the famous tourist attractions.
So Rani Padmini Place. What is the story behind? What is the legend of Rani Padmini?
Sir, the story of Rani Padmini was written by Malik Muhammad. It is said that it is a novel written by Malik Muhammad Jayasi. It is based that when Alauddin Khilji saw the beauty of Rani Padmini, he wanted to conquer her, because of which the battle in 303 was fought between the forces of Mewar and Alauddin Khilji. And it was a 8-month siege, 8-month battle in which the forces of Mewar were defeated.
Do you also have a big pond over there where Johar was committed?
Sir, it was not committed. I think it was not committed in the pond. It was committed in the Rana Kumbha Palace, sir.
Mm-hmm. So, what is the legend behind that?
Sir, it is said that to save their honor and save their pride, instead of getting conquered by the enemies, they preferred to die in the fire.
Now, tell us something about the reforms that are being carried out in the defense sector by the government of India.
So we are carrying structural reforms, like the government has appointed Chief of Defence Staff for the better coordination between the three services. We are also carrying industrial reforms, like we are focusing more on becoming self-reliant. We have released indigenization list in which the items cannot be procured from the outside, so the local manufacturers are being encouraged.
So that is one area. Another area?
So
other areas?
Another area is that in the terms of recruitment, we have shifted from permanent recruitment at the lower level to Agniveer recruitment, where the recruited personnel are serving for a period of 4 years, after which only some of them will be taken to permanent status.
But why have we done that?
So our focus is to save the money, to use that money more on the capital resources, like building assets, upgrading infrastructure, and because
why do you want a young force that you keep them for 4 years, then you terminate them, and then you bring another set of people to work for you? So what is the rationale behind that?
So first of all, we want to have a young force who is active and who can participate in war actively. Second, I think it may be also the viewpoint of the government that in case of a threat or war happens, we will have a reserved force, a force of
Anything about the digitalization of the force, or perhaps the what you call this, the cyber preparedness of the force, that you need a young force who can understand, who's cyber literate. Anything on that? Do you have some idea about it?
no, sir, I lack clarity on this.
Achha, you lack clarity on that. Achha. Then apart from that, what are the other reforms that are going on?
So induction of women in the permanent commission in the armed forces.
And also in the command structure.
So we are pushing for theater commands, so we can have a better integration of the army, navy and air force resources. So it will be, in the modern times, I think integrated command would be better for the in utilization of the resources.
You have mentioned reading books is as an extracurricular activity and interest, hobby basically. So what books do you read?
So I mostly read self-help books.
Self-help books. What self-help book have you read recently?
So I have read Meditations for Mortals by Oliver Burkeman.
Anything else?
So Atomic Habits.
Or?
Sir, Eat the Frog.
Eat the Frog.
Eat that frog.
So Atomic Habits. Let us listen about Atomic Habits. What does it talk about?
So Atomic Habits is written by James Clear. The author tries to explain to the audience that instead of focusing on the bigger actions, we should build small mindful habits so that we can have maximum impact in our life. Like suppose if you are planning to start an activity, suppose gym. So rather than directly thinking about going to gym, build a system like purchasing the gym clothes, shoes, accessories, taking subscription, keeping those things near to you so that these things become as accessible to you. Another thing which you talked about is the habit stacking, like linking one habit with the another. Suppose in the morning you are going for the gym, then try to link another good habit with that habit, like suppose after coming from the gym you will read a book for 30 minutes. So by using this method we can create a good system.
Now, do you have some idea about the Indian economy as such? What are the challenges faced before Indian economy at this point of time?
So first of all is our lagging manufacturing sector. We are not able to use our demographic dividend properly because most of our youth is engaged in low level work or preparing even the trained engineers are preparing for the exams. Second thing is the
Preparing for what exams?
So like most of the youth is engaged in preparing for government exams. A young youth which is skilled in engineering or any other STEM profession. So second thing which I feel is the lack of infrastructure. Our logistics has not been developed as such. The transportation cost, the electricity cost, all these things are very much high, so that our industrial base has not been able to develop. And so I am able to recall these things as well.
Achha, are you aware of the trade, the tariff war going on?
Yes,
So
sir.
the US on one hand and US vis-a-vis the world on the other. So what is the tariff war that is going on?
So after coming
with specific reference to India as such.
So after coming to power, US President Donald Trump retreated his American first policy and introduced tariffs for many of the countries. In context of India, I'm not sure about the number, but he raised the tariffs to a large amount. After that, talks between the Indian government and US government were held to restore the tariff value to the previous, and Indian government will give concession on certain US imports for their better access to the Indian market.
Now, one last question. Why is tourism so popular in the context of your state?
So Rajasthan have a rich history and a diverse landscape and a rich history, diverse landscape and a large famous architectural sites. So places like Jaipur, Udaipur, Bharatpur, Jodhpur, all these places, Rajasthan was basically ruled by small fragmented kingdoms. So in all these kingdoms, there were many architectural marvels were built, because of which it attracts a lot of tourist population. And apart from it, the Rajasthani culture is also very popular. The Rajasthani cuisine, the Rajasthani dressing style.
Right.
So these things make Rajasthan a popular tourist destination.
Why do people want to go there again and again? Rajasthan in particular.
So
Why do tourists want to visit Rajasthan again and again? What could be the possible reason for that?
So I think maybe they can have a good experience there.
Yeah. So how do you define it? Huh?
So
What is the motto of Rajasthan tourism?
Padharo Mare Desh.
ठीक है, thank you. So anyhow, and Atithu Devo Bhava. Anyhow, so that completes the interaction with you, and it has been what you call a wonderful interaction with you, and you've been, by and large, you've been quite knowledgeable about the issues that you ought to be knowing. But before I sum it up, Sir will give you some feedback, and Sir has already given. He had to leave for a very emergency sort of meeting, so now he'll give you the feedback.
Shagun, by and large, you are well informed.
Yes.
I have asked a question related to GIS and all, because its application nowadays in internal security is being used in the border also, within the internal security also,
Yes.
So you should know.
Yes.
And the Cartosat, Eurosat, these are the ISRO satellites
Yes.
being used. So just go through the papers. Things are coming every day.
Yes.
Yeah, even the Eurosat study paper, there was about the satellites, which satellites being used for the satellite imagery and all. And then how it is being layered, the different kind of layer being used, because you are a good candidate. So you should not leave these kind of things, Huh?
Yes, sir.
Keep updated yourself with all systems used during the Op Sindoor and all.
Yes, sir.
It's some indigenous, some even the imported one, some are the hybrid kind of thing.
Yes.
The BrahMos and all. Let's say India and the Russia, they have made this. So you should know these things. Okay.
Yes.
So that's one part of the feedback. Another part of the feedback that I like to give, like Sir, did he mention about
Yes,
the car,
sir.
etc.?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So he's already mentioned about that, and I mean, there's nothing against wearing it, but then of course, by and large,
It can
not
be
be so
worn.
often. So that is one picture. Now, can you just push yourself back? Just move. Yeah. And then put it comfortably, because your posture looks as if you are prepared to not to growl, but you look a bit aggressive, So this will feel much more comfortable.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, and then of course, what you call a smile will come into your face, onto your face also. So that is one area where you go and sit comfortably. What time is your interview? And when is your interview? By
So 22 in the morning shift.
22nd in the morning. And did you have some interview before also? The second interview, first interview.
So it's my first attempt.
So one. So you try to see to it that you make it
Yes.
make it in the first interface with the interview. So and that you have the capacity. What I'll suggest is that apart from what Sir has said and what Sir has also said, you don't have much of time. Nor do you require so much of time also, because 4 days is more than sufficient from your DAF, and as also from the current affairs. You take out what you call you take out the questions that are likely to be asked, and after assessing your performance, I'll not be telling you what questions can
Yes.
be asked, but you can easily fathom them out.
Yes.
DAF, whatever you mentioned the DAF, like for example, you have mentioned mining consultant. In fact, mining. Your father is a mining consultant.
Yes, sir.
And mining, and especially mining of in your Rajasthan.
Yes, sir.
Rajasthan. So obviously, marble mining, etc., becomes very prominent, and which the areas. Now you are from which district?
So Bharatpur, Rajasthan.
Bharatpur, Rajasthan. So Bharatpur has also does have what you call a bird sanctuary.
The national
So you should
park.
be knowing about
Yes.
these things, And then of course, you mentioned about reading books. We had a discussion on your reading books, and did we discuss about reading books?
Yes, sir. You asked me a summary.
Right. Then drill competition. Obviously, being from Sainik school, the drill competition shall be there. Quiz competition, volleyball champion. You should know something about volleyball and football, because these have been mentioned. Athletics, cross country. Now that we have mentioned it, try to go through these things
Yes.
also, so that you are not what you call, you're not caught. All of a sudden, this
Yes.
question comes and all of a sudden you draw a blank. That
Yes.
should not come up.
Yes.
So just try to get through the different matches that are going on, the rules, regulations, etc. And why is what you call your volleyball, football. I mean, the world's most popular game. In fact, volleyball is equally interesting. So these are the areas, and then of course now come over to the to the current affairs. So current affairs, you need to be knowing a lot about India's relation with our immediate neighbors, and especially in the context of the fact that the CAPF is also deployed on the borders,
Yes, sir.
the Indo-Pakistan border, the Bangla border, and obviously
All
there's
the
also
borders.
deployment of SSB on the Nepal and the Bhutan. We're knowing about these and the problems that we normally have,
Yes.
right? And the role of the CRPF in internal security issues and Naxalism, etc. And then of course the pronouncement of the Honorable Home Minister that we are going to finish it off. And even I think the Prime Minister has also given a version only 2, 3 or 4 days back that he said that we are going to wipe out whatever it is. So
Home Minister.
all those, the Home Minister,
Home
Prime Minister has also said something like that recently. So you should be knowing about these things, our relation with our immediate neighbors. We should be knowing about that. Then there are certain things that are going on, especially presidential reference. I think we are talking about presidential reference, as to why it has been done. Is it binding? It's not binding. So get into that. See, these are generally you read newspapers regularly. Right. Even the Charlie पढ़ लेना बैठ कर.
Yes. So I'm going through all previous news.
ज़्यादा उतना नहीं करनी, थोड़ा सा 10-15 दिन का देख लीजिएगा बैठ करके. Don't spend too much of time on that because anyhow, I mean, once you are aware कि ये questions आ सकता है तो देख लीजिए, important issues है. If you start reading from one A to Z, then you will have it, You don't be reading newspapers. You don't do that at this juncture. But identify what can be asked from the newspapers.
Yes.
So what I suggest is go back home. इधर घूमने का प्रयास थोड़ा कम कीजिएगा बैठ करके. घूमने का माने नहीं कि भाई अब यहाँ के बाद फिर और जाएंगे दे रहे हैं. I'm not restraining you.
Yes.
But since we got only 4 days, so this is, although this job is not too time consuming, but still identifying the questions and thinking over it. मनन करना इसको कहते हैं.
Yes.
Identify करो, मनन करो.
Yes.
And then you realize that these are the black spots.
Yes.
इसमें मुझे नहीं कुछ जानकारी, ऐसा बहुत कम जानकारी, थोड़ा उसको ब्रश कर लीजिए. समझ गए?
Yes,
आसान हो जाता है. It becomes very easy to answer the questions, because once you are aware of the question, then perhaps the answer flows in.
Yes.
But if you're not aware, then you start groping in the dark. And we do not want you to grope in the dark. We want you to come up with flying colors.
Yes.
So this is exactly what we want from you. सैनिक स्कूल में रिफॉर्म्स हो रहे हैं, वो सब देख लीजिएगा.
Yes.
चीजें ठीक है.
Yes.
तो वो सभी देख लीजिएगा. और I'm not anticipating any controversial questions. Obviously, the board also refrains from asking controversial questions. But if at all there is a controversial question in some context, perhaps the official standpoint is the most valid point. Because ultimately, are going to start the government.
Yes.
Anything that you take up, you'll always have a pros and a cons. But then, of course, the government stand, I think, should by and large be vindicated, based on the facts that are there.
Yes.
So this is all that I wanted to tell you about how to go about in the next 4 days' time. And you would like to ask us some questions?
No, sir.
Right. So thank you. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.